Welcome. Today, we're going to trace the incredible journey of data, starting from its simplest forms of storage and following it all the way up to becoming the fuel that's powering this AI revolution we're all living through. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. AI is literally everywhere now. It's in these huge, complex business systems, of course, but it's also showing up in the most everyday things. Just this week, my toothbrush, yes, my toothbrush, got an AI update. And it's a perfect kind of funny example of how deeply this tech is weaving itself into our lives. So, with all this intelligence popping up everywhere, it begs a really fundamental question, right? What's actually fueling all this? What's the power source behind the smarts? And the answer, of course, is data. Now, you've probably heard that phrase, data is the new oil, a million times, but it has never been more true than it is right now. It is the raw material that gets found, extracted, and refined to power every single artificial intelligence application out there. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to climb what I like to call the innovation ladder. We'll start right at the bottom with the very basics of data and climb our way up, rung by rung, to the absolute cutting edge of AI. Okay, let's start at the very first rung of that ladder. You got to go way back to a time when the world was just drowning in paper. The biggest problem wasn't complex analysis. It was just trying to bring some kind of order to all the chaos. You know, the first big breakthroughs were pretty mechanical. You had Herman Hollerith's punched card tabulator for the 1890s census, a total game changer. Then things got a bit more abstract with Edgar Codd's relational model. That's what gave us the neat rows and columns, the tables we're all so familiar with. And, of course, SQL, the language we invented to actually talk to those tables. This was the foundation for decades. But then, the internet happened, and all that messy, unstructured data just completely broke the old models. Exactly. As the web just exploded, the sheer volume of data, we had a new wall. Those old engines, the ones built for nice, neat tables, they just couldn't keep up. We needed a completely new, much more powerful kind of engine for this new era of big data. And the key idea, the real paradigm shift here, was something called distributed computing. Basically, instead of trying to build one single impossibly huge computer, the brilliant insight was, why not just get a whole bunch of normal computers to work together? You split the big job into thousands of tiny pieces and have them all attack it in parallel. And this is a perfect illustration of how Apache Spark works. It's this amazing open source engine. So a central driver gets a massive job, right? But it doesn't try to do it all by itself. It chops it up into smaller tasks, and then it hands those tasks out to a whole cluster of executor machines. They all chew on their little piece of the problem at the same time, process it super fast in memory, and then send the results back to be put together. It's how you can analyze these insane amounts of data so quickly. Okay, so we solved the processing problem with engines like Spark. But as it always goes, that just revealed the next problem on the ladder. Data was now stuck in two completely different separate systems, and that was creating a massive headache for pretty much every company out there. This slide really gets to the heart of the dilemma. On one side, you had your data warehouse. It was super organized, lightning fast for your business reports, but man, was it expensive. On the other side, you had the data lake. It was basically a cheap place to just dump everything, all your raw, messy, unstructured data. But it was slow and kind of unreliable for serious analytics, so you were stuck managing these two separate, costly, and really inefficient worlds. The solution to this was this really elegant architecture called the Lakehouse, pioneered by the very same people at Databricks who created Spark. The concept was simple, but totally revolutionary. What if we just merged the best parts of both? Take the cheap, flexible storage of a data lake and combine it with the speed and reliability of a data warehouse, all in one single unified platform. But what's the magic that makes that work? Well, at the heart of the Lakehouse is this open source tech called Delta Lake. You can think of it like a special layer you put on top of your normal data lake that gives it superpowers. It adds crucial features like ACID transactions, which is a database term that just means your data is always going to be consistent and reliable. It gives you time travel, so you can literally query what your data looks like yesterday or last week. It's an absolute game changer for making a messy data lake truly dependable. So now we've got this unified, super reliable data foundation. And this is where things get really, really cool.
Because now, data platforms can finally stop being just big, dumb storage containers and start actively using all that data to power truly intelligent AI applications.
A key piece of technology driving this is the vector database. It's a totally different way of thinking about storing information. Instead of storing raw text or pixels, it uses an AI model to convert everything into a long list of numbers called an embedding. And the amazing part is that this string of numbers captures the semantic meaning of the content. It lets you search for concepts, not just keywords.
And these vector databases are the engine behind a powerful technique you're hearing about everywhere now, Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG. It's brilliant. Here's how it works. You ask an AI a question. The system turns your question into one of those numerical vectors. Then it zips over to the vector database and finds the most relevant documents from your own private data. It grabs that specific context, feeds it to a large language model, and says, hey, answer the user's question, but use this information. The result is a super accurate answer that's grounded in your company's actual knowledge.
In the modern landscape, this has led to some specialization. You have platforms like Databricks, with their deep roots in Spark and the Lakehouse, who are an absolute powerhouse for these complex AI and machine learning workloads. At the same time, you have platforms like Snowflake, who have become leaders in cloud business intelligence and SQL analytics. And what's really interesting is that it's often not an either-or choice. A lot of smart organizations actually use both to get the best of both worlds.
And this brings us to the very top of our ladder, where we can start to see the next frontier taking shape. We are moving toward a future where our data platforms aren't just passive repositories of information anymore. They're becoming dynamic partners in reasoning and in action. First up is agentic AI. Think of these as autonomous systems that can perceive their digital environment, reason about what they see to create complex, multi-step plans, and then actually act on those plans to achieve a goal. So imagine a data analyst agent that not only answers your question, but spots a trend on its own, generates a report, and sends it to you before you even knew you had to ask. That's where we're going. And then, way out there on the purely theoretical horizon is the concept of artificial superintelligence, or ASI. This is an AI that wouldn't just perform tasks for us, but could actually redesign and upgrade itself, becoming smarter and smarter in an endless recursive cycle. This quote really puts the entire journey into perspective. We've gone from punched cards that just store numbers to a theoretical system that doesn't just store knowledge, but actively creates it. This entire evolution, from simple tables all the way up to intelligent reasoning agents, it really is a ladder of innovation. And it's a ladder that every single organization today needs to be climbing if they want to stay competitive. The only question is, how do you climb it safely and effectively? And well, that's exactly where we come in. At Algorythmos, our whole mission is to be your expert guide for that climb. We help you build the secure, the scalable, and the intelligent data platforms that are essential to turn the ambition of AI experimentation into real-world production-grade value. So this whole journey, from simple data to complex intelligence, it leaves us with one final provocative question to think about. Is your organization's data foundation ready for what comes next? Is it built for the past, or is it truly ready for the future of AI?